All right, everybody, welcome back to the Closers Club with our good friend Keith Gillespie. Keith, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing absolutely amazing. How are you?
Awesome, excited. So, guys, this is a 20-minute pop-up, not 19, not 21. Today, we are going to talk about the top 4 tools or pieces of software that you should have in your real estate business. Keith, let's jump right into it. What's number 1?
Yeah, well, I think that it's not really a tool or a software, but it is a system. I think that the first thing that you need to put in place is a system for marketing.
Okay.
Because if you're doing everything manually, and marketing is the lifeblood of your business, 100%. You are going to get burnt out so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things that we found is, we would go through this kind of cycle of death when it was just me and, my wife or my brother. We were kind of working kind of on our own, but yeah, we'd do a bunch of marketing, then we would take a bunch of calls, and then we would try to sell the deals, and then we'd work through the transaction, we'd get it closed. And that was like 2 or 3 months. And then we're like, oh my God, we need to crank the wheel back up and turn the marketing back on.
It's just a roller coaster.
Exactly.
Feast and famine. I'm stressed out. Now I'm thirsty. I'm drowning. I'm thirsty. I'm drowning. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. What are you seeing right now as some of the top marketing channels for people to set up?
Oh, oddly enough, it's been a long time since I've seen this, but I see a lot of our clients are really winning with direct mail.
Dude, I'm hearing that all over the place.
Isn't that weird? I'm not personally doing it. I'm not brave enough to test it, honestly. I'm really, even though direct mail is kind of a hybrid between outbound and inbound marketing, right? Because we can curate the list and we're the one initially reaching out to them. So it has some outbound factors of it, but really they're the ones reaching out to us. And I like that. So with PPC, I'm almost exclusively PPC and PPL. So I like it when they're coming to me. It's just easier on the team, takes more dollars, but less time. And the intent is really high. But yeah, dude,
I think you're right. What I do love about mail is I can be very targeted, like a sniper.
That's right. You can curate it.
I want 3-bedroom, 8-bath houses in this zip code, whatever it is, right? I can dial. I can dial right in on exactly what we're looking for.
Yes.
And it's very budget conscious, right? If I know I have $1,000, I can literally just figure out how many pieces of mail that is, and then curate my list down to that. I can keep adding filters to make it smaller. However, you're exactly right. Once we started doing any type of scale, PPC was far easier because I wasn't like, I used to have a marketing girl. She would come into the office and it was, okay, what city, what list, it was every day. I felt like I was constantly doing these things. And PPC is kind of set it and forget it. You have to monitor it a little bit.
Yeah, but in comparison, the managerial point of not only doing the deduplication, right? Because you're buying this list, and then 2 weeks later you're buying another list, and if it's in the same area, you got to dedupe. You don't want to be sending the same mail mail to the same person. But then also handling all the returned mail. My God, we used to do mail at a very comparatively to most people at a very large level.
Right.
Sending out tens of thousands of mailers each month. And it got way overwhelming for me and my wife to handle this. It was just ridiculous.
I tell you, we always said that we would keep our mail stacked up and it would be in these boxes just piled up.
Yes.
And it was always like, we're gonna skip trace this, and we never did.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We didn't, which is bad on us. But one thing I do think there's probably a blend of marketing strategies. That way all of your eggs aren't in one basket. Like everybody who was on just ringless voicemails or SMS or, cold calling, like they've had some problems. So a little bit of a blend is probably good.
I absolutely agree. Yep.
Nice. Well, cool. Well, let's move on because we got 20 minutes. What's the number 2 thing? What's next on your list?
System number 2 would be a dialer. And the reason why a dialer is simply because that's where your money is, right? You can have all the amazing gizmos and gadgets and sexy whatever, but at the end of the day, picking up the phone is what's going to make you the money. And so I think that, the reason why marketing, putting a system in place for marketing is first, is because if you don't have any leads, you have nobody to call.
Exactly. Yeah.
But chronological order states, well, dialing is up next. Let's not do it. I can't be punching a 10-digit number into my cell phone every single time. So we have, a software on our computer where it's just one click, or we can put people on a list and burn through the list, or we can multi-dial. So we're dialing for, quad line dialers and such. Having a system put in place to dial makes you so much more efficient, which means that you're more effective with your time.
Yeah. What's the dialer that you're using now that you're having success with?
We use smartphone because it's integrated directly into automated.
Nice. We've used Batch and had some good luck with that. But this kind of goes back to a funny story. Years ago when I was in retail, I was probably younger than you. I shared an office with a corporate recruiter, and his name was Leo. And he was like this old guy that smoked a lot of cigars. And he's like, listen, when I was just getting started in this business, my boss told me never put down the phone. If I put it down, he was going to duct tape it to my hand. And that's what a dialer does is boom, it makes the call. Nobody picks up. Boom, dials again. Boom, dials again, dials again. So one that holds us accountable, keeps our butt in the seat, because it's so easy to drift off. And then people are like, oh, I made 4 calls today. I worked hard. No, you didn't. You got to make the calls. But also if you have a team, it's really good for holding them accountable and tracking what they do.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
If it's on their phone, you have no control. You cannot monitor. Yeah. Whereas if it's on your software, you can see how many dials, how much talk time. You can make sure they're following up with each person and they're recorded. So now you can go back through and just tear them up. I'm doing that tonight with my team. Hey, we're doing a role play and a call review of a perfect presentation. I'm going to tear them apart. Hey, here's pause. Here's what you said. Here's why you don't say that. Here's what you need to say, and here's why. Any questions? No, move on. Boom.
I love that. Here's why. Yeah, and that's so many people don't do that. I hate doing call reviews. I want to just beat my head in against the desk. But it is so crucial. And, you get what you what is it? You get what you inspect, I guess is what they say, but
inspect what you expect.
That's what it is. I knew I was close, but absolutely. You have to train your team and teach them. This is one of the big fallacies in our business. I'm going to hire this person, or I'm going to get a VA, and they're just going to come in and do this thing for me.
Right.
No, this is a business, whether they're in person or virtual. You have to train your team, love on them, let them know what the culture is, what it is you expect, and then praise them when they do good things.
Yeah, that's nice. Right.
Well, cool. Moving on. Number 3. What do we got?
A CRM.
A CRM. Yes.
I think that it's important to be organized. And I say, we had this on our last conversation where I own a software company, and part of that, what we provide is a CRM, but I'm here to tell you, putting a marketing system in place is more important. Getting a phone system in place so that you can dial is more important. However, once you have those 2 things put in place, then putting some organization in your day-to-day mix, and then putting automation behind you will get you in touch with more people faster, hands down.
Yeah. So one thing that I've never been great at, I'm not the software guy. I'm lucky I can get my printer to print on most days. But I do always caution people not to fall in love with your CRM, where that becomes your job, where they're constantly tweaking and messing with it and creating these elaborate workflows. In the beginning, a CRM is literally just a place to hold your leads and some notes. At its base level, that's what it is. Do that, get some deals going, and then what are some of the other things that they can add on to make life easier?
Gosh. So absolutely. The first thing, just plain Jane, here's the contact, here's some notes. And then when it comes to automations, we have an automated deal analyzer that's built in. We have an automated purchase and sales agreement via an API with DocuSign that's built in. So quite literally, it's a press of a button, send the purchase and sales agreement while you're on the phone with them. And so this, I did a bunch of tracking it was just short of 2,000 perfect presentations offers. I don't call them offers though. Perfect present, just shy of 2,000 of them. And I tracked, because I was getting off the phone, right? Hey, Mr. Seller, I'm not saying that I can, but if I could get you whatever, $62,000 cash at close in 2.5 weeks, just like you wanted, you sell me the house today. And they say, yes. All right. What do most people do? All right, well, let me get off the phone with you. I'm just going to draft up the agreement really quickly. I'll give you a call back and I'll walk you through it. Dude, 45% of them.
I was going to say 50, but
never picked up the phone. Yeah. And maybe it is. I did this years ago. It probably is closer to 50. It's going to slide to a bigger number. I'll tell you that. But 45% of them never, I'm saying absolutely to this day, never picked up the phone. And like, they got your number, they got your offer. They're going to go shop you. So we actually built in an automated purchase and sales agreement. So rather than getting off the phone, now I say, hey, Mr. Olds, I've drafted up everything into a purchase and sales agreement. I've already sent it over. Now is, whatever, david.olds@gmail.com, the right email account? Yeah, it is. Are you going to be bringing that up on your phone or your email? And we just send it to them right then and there. We walk them through paragraph by paragraph, and we can do that because of our CRM. So
I think that's a fantastic tool. You're right. And in all parts of your business, right? Whether you're doing the exploratory call or you're just starting the acquisitions process or on the dispo side.
Yeah.
My gosh, there's something about it when people get off the phone. I don't know if they get seller's remorse or they
busy.
Yeah, busy. And then they're like, I don't know if I needed to do that. And like the way I explain to people is you're walking through the grocery store and you get the Oreos and you're like, by the time you get to the register, hopefully you're like, I don't know if I really need Oreos. Yeah, people just change their mind, and it's weird. It's a strange phenomenon, but it happens over and over and over again.
Yeah. So the more things that we can do, that's why the deal analysis is there built in. All of our call recordings are there. We have all the contracts. Every time we have a call with them, the summary and the report is there. What decision is made. We have a ton of automated workflow. Again, this is not important. What you said is true, and I agree with that. However, we've been building our CRM for 7 years now, and we have hundreds of people using it, so it's very built out. There's a lot of automation behind. We have 391 things actually that's built in. Automated flows, 391.
Yeah.
All these mundane, menial, repetitive tasks that everybody hates doing it. They're automated.
Yeah. I think yes, I think the more that we can keep these sellers on the phone, I know it's hard to do a one call close, but no, I don't love it either. I don't love to try to force it, but if the seller's willing to be on the phone and they've got a problem and we're going to solve it, like let's plow through, if someone's going to be a little bit patient with you while you, you go ahead and say, hey, Keith, let me go ahead and type this up now while we're here. Let me just confirm a couple things as we're doing this. Let me make sure I got everything right. Then keep them locked in as best you can.
Yep. Agreed. Very much agreed.
Nice. Well, cool. What is the fourth thing that you've got for us?
The fourth thing is you have to have a system of analyzing your deals. This is becoming more and more and more of a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
Where people are sending me, I literally went live this morning on Facebook because this wholesaler is bringing me this deal and I could not believe the number that he gave me. How could you possibly arrive? I'm in the car driving up to the airport, not looking at any numbers. I can tell you verifiable fact that is not a deal.
Yeah.
Having a process to analyze your deals.
So did you talk to the wholesaler? Where did it come from?
He's a guy at my local market, who's been trying to wholesale me a deal for gosh darn, I don't know, 10 months now. Really close to a year. And at the end of the day, he's new. He's never done a deal before.
I gotcha.
And so I'm walking him through like, here's how you determine your ARV. Here's how you estimate your repairs. The problem wasn't that actually. The problem was he kind of knew what the repairs were. He kind of knew what the ARV was. The problem was the seller had a story, right? 3 kids, they inherited the house from dad. They've been putting money in to pay for the taxes, and the insurance is really expensive here in Florida. And the mortgage has been just draining their accounts for the last 8 months or something like that. And so they had I'm going to be a little bit frank, like this is a little bit rude, but they had a sob story, right? They had this sob story and the wholesaler just hook, line, and sinker, like, oh yeah, I can absolutely get you this price up here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, here's the thing. The higher the number, the lower the certainty. The lower the number, the higher the certainty that I can close. The lower the number, the better the deal, right? I
Right.
can find the money anywhere. The higher the number, the lower money. So what's more
Mhm.
important? Getting
Yeah.
more money or having more certainty in this
Mhm.
season of life? You need to ask the seller that question.
Yeah, and I think there's two things that come into play there, especially for a new wholesaler. First thing is, they're agreeing to a higher price because they're so desperate for the deal. They want the
Yeah,
deal so badly, and I
that's
get
right.
it. I tell people, I remember I would have cartwheeled down naked down Main Street. Nobody wants to see all that, but
Yeah.
like that's how bad I wanted the deal. But then on the other side, the flip side of that is you do more harm than good, right? Because if this wholesaler, let's call him Bob, Bob offers Mrs. Smith, takes a and I get it. Every person we talk to has a bad story. But
Yeah.
if I give them more than what I know is the right number, like you said, the certainty goes down. And
Yep.
now what have I done? I've given them hope, right?
Yeah.
That they're going to get the 364,000, whatever the number is.
Yeah.
But then I can't perform.
That's
Right.
right.
And this is exactly what is out there that's giving wholesalers a bad name.
Yes.
This is exactly our problem. We're telling these people that we are going to make this deal happen. We're going to, you know, take away the thing that's keeping them up at night. But
Yeah.
in the end, we can't. And this happens, honestly, probably thousands of times across this country. And, people
Hmm.
just need to get some better training.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's setting the seller up for failure. It's setting
Yes.
us up for failure, like the wholesaler. It's setting
Mhm.
the cash buyer up for failure,
Yeah,
and it's bad on the industry as a whole.
it is. It is. So for comping tools, what do you use? What do you like?
I've been using PropStream for a really long time.
Yeah.
We use PropStream. Reason being, primary reason, honestly, because it has access to the MLS as well as public
Mhm.
record. But really, we export once we have chosen our comps, we export out of PropStream and
Mhm.
we upload it into My Auto Deal Analyzer,
Yeah.
because then we can run a script that
Mhm.
does a whole bunch of cool stuff, and then literally spits out the number. Hey Keith,
Yeah.
given what you've told me, the comps, or
Really?
given what you've told me, the repairs, and knowing the factors, is this going to be a cash entrance, a subject to entrance, an owner finance entrance, a
Mhm.
hybrid of both? Here's what it looks like. If you're going to wholesale, retail, wrap,
Yeah.
rent, novate, lease option, like it analyzes it every which way till Monday and then spits out the number. Keith, given the numbers that you've given me, this is the price. This is
Mhm.
the absolute highest max level offer, if you
Yeah.
will, that you can afford to pay and it still be a safe deal. I'm not saying that it's a good deal. I'm saying that's a safe deal.
Right.
Anything less than that is going to be a good deal.
Gotcha. I love PropStream. I mean, I've used them all of the different services, and PropStream
Yeah.
is the one that we stuck with the most because it just had the most data. And of course,
Yep.
shockingly, it's owned by Stewart Title, which is one of the biggest title companies and has all of the data. So
Right.
always, love PropStream. We spent tens and tens of thousands of dollars way back in the day on the skip tracing and all of that, which,
Oh,
spoiler, if you are an active PropStream user, they have a new program coming out that's going to be pretty amazing that may or may not include some skip tracing. So you definitely want to
oh,
get
I
on the
didn't know that.
PropStream bandwagon. It's I got that from my buddy over there that works there, the last event we were at together. So yeah,
Oh, that's great.
PropStream, 2 thumbs up. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Love it.
Cool. So you talked a lot about a CRM. Like, people are probably intrigued. How to, like, do you sell that? Is that just for your clients? Like, tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I do sell it, but it's only for our clients. And what I
Okay.
mean by that is you cannot just buy the CRM.
Okay.
It comes with the education and the coaching. And the reason behind this, we've talked about this privately, but I feel like there's a lot of people who sell just info, and there's a lot of people who sell just coaching, and there's a lot of people who sell just software or tech stack.
Mhm.
And I really feel like in order to bake a cake, you have to have sugar, you have to have flour, you have to have eggs, there's key ingredients in order to come up with a successful cake.
Yeah.
I believe that in order to have a successful real estate investing business, you have to have the right education, the right systems, and the right coaching, the right support. Those three things blended together is going to be what creates success. And dude, this is the reason why I literally have had clients stay with me for 3.5 years. Like, I have a
Wow.
92 or 93% retention rate. It's absolutely amazing. We
That's
don't
similar to us.
lose
That's
clients.
an amazing number. Well, I know we're coming up on it here on the 20 minutes, but
Yep.
what is the best way for people to get a hold of you? Like, I know you do a lot of content, but
Yep.
do you have a group or a Facebook group, or how can people reach out to you?
The fastest way is going to be to just find me on Facebook. On Facebook, I'll direct you every which way to join the groups and everything like that.
Okay, cool. What's your Instagram? Is it a handle? I never get this right.
I don't even know my Instagram. I think that it's just my name.
Facebook, rather.
Keith Gillespie. Yeah, my Facebook is definitely just Keith Gillespie.
Okay, well, when we publish this, I'll make sure that we get all the right links.
Fantastic.
We put them below so that people can find you. Keith, again, my brother, thank you so much. I always appreciate it. Next time, maybe we'll look at the CRM a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it.